Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. So I am here live with you from Stamping with Diane. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I love this little mug. Sorry, it's already sold out. Maybe it will come back though. It's a really cute little gingham mug. Tonight we are making a stand-up pinwheel card. So hold on to your hats. It's going to be great fun. If you are crafting along with me, you'll want to grab quite a few different ink colors. Just choose some of the coordinating colors that go with the paper that I have sent you in your packet. For instance, soft suede, gray granite, crumb cake, maybe some calypso coral, those mossy meadow, those kinds of things. I'm going to be doing some embossing and some die cutting as well tonight. So if you are crafting along with me, you may want to just kind of start and stop and then watch the video either on the replay here or on my YouTube channel and be able to pause it so you can actually create the card. But I want to show you all the tricks and techniques tonight to help you to do that. As you're grabbing all those materials and your supplies, I'm very excited to tell you that tomorrow night at 7:30, Thursday night at 7:30, I am going to offer a free mystery stamping night. So mystery stamping means I give you some instructions to gather a few supplies, and then it'll just take maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and we will create a card, and you'll just kind of have to follow along the instructions, and at the end we'll be able to show everybody what we've made and our version of following those instructions. So if I have not sent you the Zoom link yet and the list of instructions, just message below, comment below, and I'd be happy to send that out to you. It'll just be a fun time to connect and stamp using whatever you have at home. Also, this Friday night, I have a Friday afternoon and a Friday night time slot with a couple of openings. We are going to be creating 4 cards for whatever occasions you have coming up. So basically, we're going to be creating our own sheet of designer paper, and then you'll be able to mount them on card bases, and you'll be able to stamp whatever sentiment it is that you need for upcoming occasions. Maybe you've got a couple birthdays, maybe you've got a wedding coming up or an anniversary, a thank you card. Whatever you want to make is what you will stamp in there. So that's why mine are blank. I do have a couple of openings left, so check the Linktree link up above and click on that one. As I say, I have an afternoon or an evening time slot, and I'd love to get those filled up. Next month, my tea and cards. I know we still have one more week of our Happier Than Happy. This was our first week's card, last week's card. Tonight we're doing the fancy one. Next week I've got another surprise for you. But the month of November I'm going to run a little bit differently. I'm calling it a holiday sampler. So each week of November, and there are 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays in November, I'll be featuring different Christmas current stamp sets from Stampin' Up. So 1 week per stamp set, and I've got a special one as well that I'll be showing you. So you don't need to purchase anything in particular. I will sell you the materials for all 5 cards for $20, so that's a bonus card. Usually you get 4 cards for the $20, and then you can stamp along with whichever stamp sets you have at home. And again, that link is on my Linktree, which is above in the description. And the last thing I have to tell you is just a little hint of what's coming. If you live in the Innisfil area, or pretty much I know it's been spoken about widely, we lost 2 police officers last week in the line of duty, and I'm going to be offering a fundraiser. I was waiting to hear what charities they have decided upon. That has been announced. So I've chosen one of those charities, and I'm going to be offering a fundraiser for that, and it's going to be our kit collection. So any of our current kits from Stampin' Up, the charity of choice will receive between $8 and $10 per kit. So just a little heads up on that, and I'll get that running as soon as possible, and I'm going to run it all the way until December, and then give the organization hopefully a healthy donation. So if stamping is not something you want to do, we do have the holidays coming up. It would be a great time to get a kit for somebody. And if you don't have anyone on your list that you think would like a kit, why not purchase a kit and donate it to a school, to a classroom, to a senior center? Our kits are just fabulous for all of those things. All right, my friends, let me spin the camera around and we're gonna get going here. Hang on, just bear with me. Still getting used to my new setup here. And I think that should work. There's a bit of a glare on there, but that's just on the stamp set. So again, Happier Than Happy is the one you want to have with you tonight. And we are gonna start, again, this is the overhead view of where we're headed. And I think it's very helpful for you to understand where we're headed, okay? And then these tips and tricks should help you get going. Now I'm going to use a little bit of tear-in tape, but you don't need to use that. You can use whatever your adhesive is of choice, but I will be using some of this at the beginning. So say hello in the comments, please. Let me know you're watching. Tell me where you're watching from. And you will find a card base in your kit. Now, of course, any color cardstock works for this. This is a 5 by 7, 5" by 7" page. And I have scored it at a 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. And you'll see right now, I'm just going over those lines with my bone folder, my score lines, the score lines that are there. This one seems to be a bit off. There we go. And I'm scoring it very well because this is going to form the base. Now this card, hello from Stroud, this card is not going to fit in an ordinary envelope, but it will fit nicely in a 5 by 7, okay? A 5 by 7 envelope. So now you've got this, and it's going to end up curled up like so. So let me show you a trick to get this lined up just perfectly. So I'm going to, as I say, use some tear-in tape because it's just so quick and easy, and I'm putting it on the 1/2 inch edge here and running it all the way down, and it is exactly what it says, tear and tape. Tear and tape. So it's easy to tear is what I meant to say. So sometimes I just go over that again with the bone folder, then peel the layer peels off easily. So now I've got the sticky part underneath. Now here's the easy way to get this into place. All you need to do is not fold on the first line, fold on the second line. Okay, so I'm folding it up in half. And as I do that and press down here, now I have my box exactly where I want it. Okay, so I hope you followed that. It's just easier than trying to hold the ends and push them into place. So this makes up our base, and then inside your kit you're going to have 3, and I'm going to call them wings. Okay, they are 3.5 by 5 inch. Our card is going to sit 5 inches high. So what we are doing with our wings is one will get attached to each of these faces, like so, and like so. Okay, and then each of them has the same size face on it. So get out some paper clips. I should have told you that in advance, because I find this is the easiest way with a few paper clips just to get our project planned. We're going to do a lot of planning tonight before we do any adhering with our adhesive of choice. So one wing is going to sit like this. So when you're looking at the card, you're going to see a 3.5 inch page and a smaller 2.5 inch side. Okay, so it kind of looks like a book. So then I'm going to paper clip the next wing at the top here, because this is going to help me choose what I want to put on each, shall we call it, page of the book, so to speak. Okay, so there we go. Now they are all equal. And then in your kit, you're going to, oh great, it's nice to see quite a few joining in live tonight. That's awesome. You're going to find a selection of designer papers from our Happier Than Happy. Is that the name of it? It's called, again, my supply list is at the top, Happy Forest Friends designer paper. So this is the set we've been using all month. Now I chose one plain and I chose a couple of pattern papers. Oh, hello, Peyton. And I see also I've chosen this one. Now this is not from that paper pack. This was one I still had on my shelf, but I love the wood grain and I thought it matched well with this. You do not need to use something different. You can certainly find more from the paper, but I thought a couple of plain ones would be fun to use. So I'm going to start with, as well, you have a larger sheet of crumb cake, larger sheet of crumb cake. So I'm going to set our base aside for a moment. I have been showing you in the last couple of weeks the tree rings dies and the tree ring embossing folder, and we've been calling it the hybrid embossing folder because we know that not only does it emboss with the tree rings, it will also cut out those rings, and we will be using quite a few of these little dies tonight, but I've already pre-cut for you on most of those. So this is going to pop inside the folder and it will set in place, okay? So you don't have to worry, it will sit in place there if you've got it the right way. So it sits on inside with the sharp end pointing up. It sits inside the top of the folder that has the Stampin' Up on it. All right. Now we're going to do something fun though. Before I lay that in, we're going to color this because I want if I left it plain, we'd get the tree rings like so, but I would like a little bit of color on them. So I'm going to use the soft suede. So just a shade darker than the crumb cake. And I'm just going to tap across, and now you can see exactly where those, it shows up better is what I'm trying to say. It shows up better. Now I'll set my hybrid die right in there. Wait till it kind of clicks into place. There, I heard it click. I'm going to set my paper this way, and I'm going to close the folder kind of upside down way. Okay, so this is going to now run through my die cut and emboss machine. So let me just go off to the side here and do that step, and I'll pop right back so you can see how it turns out. So it's running through as if it's a 3D embossing folder. So I've used the bottom plate and I've sandwiched it and used plate number 4 on top. Okay, so here's the reveal. I still have a little bit of ink on the inside here, but now I've got these tree rings and they've got this texture to them. How cool is that? And they're already punched out for us. So now I'm going to discard this paper. I don't need that. I'll be giving my die a little bit of a wipe down, and I'm taking my tree rings out of the folder, and then I'll remember right now I've just got a little wet wipe here just to give this a wipe down. I will run it through my tap in a few moments. So we do have about 3 hybrid folders in our current catalog selections. So if you're looking for that, it means it will emboss and cut at the same time. So pretty neat trick. So we are going to use some of these, and we'll just set them to the side for now. And now I'd like you to take out your Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do a similar thing with our fern. And I'm going to go lighter. So I've chosen Old Olive, and it's the lighter shade of the Mossy Meadow. So same thing, turning it upside down. I'm just going to put a bit of ink on the inside, just with a tap tap. Doesn't need to be totally covered. Close that up. Put my piece inside and close it up, and we're going to get a textured piece to this as well. Now this again is a 3D folder, so just running it through with the same sandwich. Got plate 4 on top. Opening this up, and check out the texture there. So we always get the texture, but now do you see this background has this different tone to the green? I love this quick way of adding extra ideas to our cards. Okay, just gonna wipe that out again, and as I mentioned, I will just rinse those out, but it's just water-based ink, so that's gonna rinse off very easily. Okay, we are ready now to start designing our card. I'm going to pull it back in, and just a quick reminder, we've made our base, we've got our wings, and I just have everything paper clipped together. Now this card is going to be able to lie flat like this. So what I'd like to do now is I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4 large sheets. So that's going to be for each of these. So let's just put the brown on that one, flipping it over. And I think I'll put this nice patterned one. Again, this is just cut from the designer paper. Remember to check the back. Maybe you want to use that. I think I'm going to use the patterned one. Flip again. And on this one, I'm going to use our fancy embossed and colored fern piece. And again, I'm just paper clipping that on instead of adhering it in case I haven't made up my mind yet. And then my last one then will be this with the Calypso coral and these cute little mushroom toadstool ideas. So that's going to go there. Okay, now I've given you a whole bunch of, this is where you have to start making some decisions, my friends. And this is where you might want to just start watching and craft this a little bit later when you watch the replay on the YouTube channel. So I've given you more than you need so that you do have options. But these strips, and again, check out the back side. Maybe you want to use one of those. But what I'm encouraging you to do is choose something that you like to go along, to go with the color scheme. So on here, I think I'm going to choose the trees. So I've got kind of the tree with a little bit of the green. Sorry, I'm out of your range there. That's better. Just let me know if I'm doing that. So I've got the mushrooms on this side and I've got the trees over here on this side. And so far, I like the look of that. Let's flip. Oops, paper clipped it in the wrong spot. There we go. Okay, so now as I have the brown, this is where I'm going to have my message. So I've given you a rectangle stitched, cut with a rectangular stitch dies. And that's where I'm going to be able to write dear so-and-so, blah, 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 and love Diane on here. So I thought this tree one would be really nice. Now this is not from the paper, the Happy Forest Friends. This one was actually one of our free papers in the last celebration called Rings of Love. But I love the tree pattern again, and I thought the color scheme worked well. So I thought that looks quite nice. So that's going to be where I'm going to be writing my message. So that means this is going to be the front of my card. So this is where I'm going to have my greeting. So this is kind of very pretty and busy over here. So I thought I would balance that maybe with this. It's the same paper, but I'm going to use the opposite side. So a little bit plainer design. Grabbing another paper clip here. This is going to go together fairly quickly, but this is the decision-making time, okay? So this is where you've got your choices. Now with the greens here, I've got this. Now this could look nice with the coral. I've got the green tree here, but I did use that already. So how about I flip it over and we use the back side that's got this green to it, okay? All right, and I'll pop this up here. All right, so we've got it planned out now. And as I say, you've got, and I also included a few little strips because we'll be able to use those along the way as well. All right, for the label, this card is actually going to be basically an any occasion, whatever you want it to be, because we're going to call it Happier Than Happy for You. And I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to use our largest ring of our tree, and I believe I enclosed in your packet one of the, I ran this through again with the cutter, and I ran it through just on white cardstock, and I got this, and I thought, why don't we cut out how that labels, and I just thought that'd be a really fun way to start our card. So we're going to stamp the Happier Than Happy for You, and I'm going to use, whoops, that had a little bit of ink on it. I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow, and hopefully that's going to cover over. That was not so smart. Didn't realize I hadn't cleaned my stamps. There's your suggestion. Always clean your stamps before putting them away. There we go. It worked just fine. Okay, so now that I've said that, I'm going to bring my chamois in here and give it a little wipe before I put it away. So there's my Happier Than Happy for You. And so that I don't lose things as we go, I'm going to adhere that right onto these rings already. And that is going to go on the front of my card. So I'll just, So here's what I tend to do. I tend to just kind of tuck it in there so that I know that that's going to be my front. Now, to go along with that, to coordinate with that, I want to pull out a little bit of that green. So if you dig down in your package, you should have some green kind of foliage. And let's do that right now, because that one's going to be a little bit tricky. Oops, I just ran my finger through the ink. This is real life, friends. This is what happens when you're crafting. All right, so pulling out my silicone mat and some of I'm just going to use the multi-purpose glue. Now these were cut with the hybrid folder. Okay, they were cut with the hybrid folder. So the same thing that cut those tree rings is what cut these 4 pieces. So there's slightly different shapes, 2 of each design. And I'm just going to make it kind of look like a vine coming up from the bottom. Lost one in the package here. I apologize, you have a lot of pieces in your kit tonight. But that should save you a bit of time for die cutting if you don't have those dies especially. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of at the top. And so remember, this is the inside. And just kind of let it layer a little bit. Check this out and make sure we're not going to run out of room. That should work well. And down here. There we go. So that's one whole side is finished. And let's put the adhesive on that again, just to save a bit of time. Well, not so much time, but I have planned mine out. Now, if you're wanting to do your own planning, absolutely fine. Take your time, plan out your colors, etc., and see just what you want. So I've got that one now, and it's going to coordinate with this front page. So now, as I flip, we are going to do a whole bunch of stamping right now, okay? And this again is where you might want to make some changes. So I've just got a white page here, and I'm going to do a bunch of stamping and then die cut. But don't worry, the magic of technology is going to help us speed this up a little bit. Popping that away. Okay, so let's start with my bear. I love this fellow. You've seen him already a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to stamp him with soft suede. So just a gentle touch. He's already got texture to him, and straight down, giving him a press and up. There we go. Now I imagine, Peyton, have you gone to bed? I hope you're tucking in now, my little man. Thanks for saying hi. But Gigi says, it's bedtime, my dear. You better go to bed. Okay, now I'm going to stamp a stump. We're going to need that. We're going to need the owl to sit on that stump. So I'm going to use a gray granite for the owl. And you'll see I'm just moving around the page. I'm going to get a lot of images out of this one sheet. And then I can die cut them, kind of run them all through at once. I would like to have the fox. He's going to be the focal point on one of my pages. So again, with him, I'm going to really gently touch on the fox. I'll put him up beside the bear. Press. Oh, missed him. No problem. There we go. That's better. Let's try that again. Press. Yes. Okay, there he is. Nice clear image. And then you're going to find in the stamp set a whole bunch of little, we're going to get out some coral and some crumb cake, a whole bunch of the little mushrooms. So I'm going to stamp some in the light. This is crumb cake. And I'm going to stamp a little one in crumb cake. I'd like to do some in Calypso Coral. Just wipe those off quickly. Here we go. Calypso Coral. Put it down here. the other guy, the smaller one, and let's put one of the bigger ones in coral as well. And you're going to get to play with these and just put them wherever you wish on your card. That's probably, am I missing anything else? I think that's pretty good. So we've basically used all of the stamps. We didn't use the tree, but I have die cut out a couple of trees for you, and we didn't use this one this time, and I haven't used the little butterfly. You could certainly use him as well. So here's where you have your own personal choice. Okay. So then here's how it can work. With the dies, the Happy Forest Friend dies, they coordinate very well. So we would just pop the bear on top, pop the stump, Mr. Fox here. Now there is another stump. This is the detailed one. We don't need that. We're just looking for the outlines tonight. So when you're doing the owl, make sure you can see the feet through the little holes. And then the nice thing is there are a couple. So here's the bigger one. Here's the smaller one. I can put it upside down there. And there's another, this is the little kind of acorn one. And there's a second of the larger one. And you'll also notice in your set, there is also a detailed one. This will cut out, so you would want to use a different paper. You wouldn't want to stamp that one first. There is a die for the little butterfly. Loads and loads of dies in here. Okay, and then I would take this and run it through my die cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to get all of those shapes cut out at once. But as I mentioned, I've already done that step, and here are all the little things that, and I've cut out extras, so I have a little bit of choice. Okay, so here's where we're going to fast forward a little tiny bit. When we're ready, we're going to put our, I'll do this part with you. I've got my label here, and I've included a little piece of our Sahara Sand ribbon and a little piece of the Mossy Meadow ribbon. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the back, and for this I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to want it coming out the bottom. So I'm just going to put some adhesive across here, and I'm going to fold over my Sahara Sand, and then I want to fold my Mossy Meadow on top like so, so that I can see both of those. And then I'm going to flip it over and press it down. Okay, so that's enough adhesive to hold that in place. And now I've got this idea where it looks like a little bit of a ribbon sticking out the bottom. And I just need to trim that off. There's some scissors here. Trim that off. Trim this off, and we've got a nice clean edge there. Going to grab some dimensionals, and we're going to pop this up. Okay. Pop this up. Pull off my backings. Now I am going to put one right at the tip here, which is just going to help to hold that down in place. These foam dimensionals are so handy. They are so great for all your paper crafting needs. And now this is going to come just like this. So as I said, with the Happier Than Happy for You, this card can really be for any occasion. Then we're going to take our backing off of here. We're going to just run the adhesive, and we're going to secure this down. This is such a fun card to make, I am telling you. And it looks so scary, but once you see the trick of getting it together it's really not that scary at all. And our paper products work so well. So now we've got our front and our first side finished. Okay. Our paper products work so well because the colors coordinate beautifully. Now, on this one, I thought this would be our critter page. So I'm going to have my bear in here. And on this side, I'm going to have the stump and Mr. Owl sitting on the stump. So I'll build a little bit of this. Put the stump here. Put the owl on top. Now I'm not going to be using a lot of dimensionals on this card because there is quite a bit of texture to it already. And then you can play with some of these little pieces here and put some of the little mushrooms down across the bottom like so. And this side I wanted to quickly show you a little trick. So I used pumpkin pie and I cut it through, again, that same embossing folder for the tree rings. And the hybrid dies also comes with there they are, 2 stems. Punch out. And I thought this could be a pumpkin. So we're going to turn that into a pumpkin just so you can see. If you don't like this pumpkin, you don't have to put it on. But I thought it would be kind of fun to show you, oops, just put my glue in there, to show you that the tree rings could also be a pumpkin. Now, I had this left over from last year's pumpkin kit, so I think I stuck one of these in for you, the pumpkin leaf, and it actually kind of loops right around that stem. And how cute is that to have its own pumpkin? If you don't have that pumpkin stem, you can take this guy, clip off these little leaves and put them on top of your pumpkin. So I thought he could sit like this. Then my next thing is I thought that the inspired thoughts would also work really nicely with this card. And so I pulled out the congratulations and the hello. And I've got a small strip of white at just 1/2 inch. Half an inch, and I'm going to now put the label hello, and I'm going to use the gray granite for this. Okay, we are almost there. Hang in there, hang in with me. We are almost there. I'm going to put the little hello there, and I'm now going to use the congratulations, the same color ink, lining it up. Congratulations. Now I gave a little bit of a blip there on that hello, so I'm going to stamp that one again closer in to my congratulations. Much better. Much better. I love paper. It has 2 sides. It's very forgiving. You can make mistakes. There's our congratulations. I'm going to trim down our hello. Now there is a hello in this stamp set, which you could certainly use. The hello baby, you could just stamp the hello. You could stamp the thanks or the welcome. So either of those work well, but I just wanted mine to be quite generic. So I'm going to use, this is called my little creature page, and I'm going to have it looking like this, with the bear saying hello, a little bit of a pumpkin down in the corner, just because of the fall theme. And then I'm putting all the creatures on this side. This one I'm going to decorate. I would like to pick one of these extra strips that I had included, and it's just a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to just run a bit of adhesive down this one, and it's going to make one more strip here. Love that. Okay, just breaks that up a little bit. Our fox is going to be coming on here. My congratulations is going to come across the bottom. And then I included a couple of trees. So with the trees, again, I would use my silicone mat. I would use my white glue. Just put a couple of dots of glue on the widest parts of the tree and on the tips. And then I'm just going to let that sit as I do the next one, which is allowing the white glue just to get a little bit tacky so it won't kind of squeeze out on my project. Okay, there we go. So I mentioned earlier that I am going to run a fundraiser for the fallen police officers in South Simcoe. And that is going to be a kit event. So please start thinking about who you know that would like a kit, whether that be you or whether that be somebody that you could gift a kit to for the holidays, perhaps for upcoming birthdays. And the charity of choice, which they have chosen by the police, will receive $8 to $10 for each of the kits that are purchased through my fundraiser. So I hope that you'll consider that. You just go to my online store and take a look under Kits Collection. And right now there's probably about 20 different kits available. There's certainly some for all occasions. There we have some Christmas ones out right now. So they make great before Christmas gifts because you can make your Christmas cards or your Christmas gift tags. There's also home decor items in there, memory keeping items. Okay, so now we have this page. I'll just run the adhesive on here. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have anybody you would think would use a kit, then think about donating a kit. I know classrooms would love to receive one. Maybe you have a Girl Scout group nearby. They would love to receive one. Now this is the last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to let you finish the creativity on your own. Remember all of these we cut at the beginning of the night. I'm going to take, I think, the smallest and the middle, the next smallest, and I'm going to cut this down the center. And I'm just going to put some of these rings just randomly. Maybe it just needs two. Maybe I'll do it like this. I just think this is a fun, keeping the forest theme going here. They almost look like stepping stones. Nice to see you watching, Julie. I hope all is well in your world. There we go. So that's going to be that side. It's going to partner with Mr. Foxy Loxy here. This one I'm going to leave plain because it is pairing with this. And I don't know yet what I'm going to write on here, but I can certainly add my adhesive. I could stamp a sentiment for sure. I'm choosing not to stamp a sentiment. I'm choosing just to leave it open, that I can write whatever I want. Now remember I said this was not from the Happy Forest Friends, but this is a great example of using up things that you have that you think coordinate well. Okay, last step. So now that we've got all of our pieces, I'm going to show you how I use the Terran tape to build the card. So you just want to make sure you've got it the right way around. as we do this. Let's stand it back up again. A couple of these I've adhered, a couple of them I haven't. I was just trying to save a bit of time and let you have some creativity. So on the sheets that have this extra piece, I better glue that down just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm trying to not make this confusing. I'm trying to keep this simple for you. And again, just watch the replay to help you out. I'm going to put my tear and tape close to my designer paper, but not too close. Remember the trick, varnish it down and pull off the tear and tape. And this one goes here. So the card flattens right down. So I want to put this edge right beside my center. So it's going to line up there. And as I press, it's now attached. So let's rinse and repeat. We'll do that again. This is the backing. So on this side where I've got the space, on this side where I have the space, I'm putting my tear and tape just beyond the designer paper, ripping it off, pull up, and now just press down and line this edge with the inside edge here. So I'm just lining that up. My top and bottom should line up perfectly, and press in place. Okay, flip, rinse and repeat. Here we go. So this one was our original, so I can put the tear and tape on the inside if you wish. Now you may want to put some on both sides. We'll see how this sits. And again, just line it right up with that fold and you're good. Okay, so as you work your way around, you're going to lift off you can remove your paper clips, and around you go. So here's the finished product that I did, but again, you can make it any way you wish. So there's my happier than happy with the vine on the other side. As I flip, we've got the page with the little critters saying hello. On the next one, we're continuing the little critters theme here. A couple of the tree rings. Now mine was a little different tonight because I decided to use the paper's bottom edge that had a little bit more detail on it. I liked that one a little bit better. And my congratulations. And then I tucked a couple of little extra pieces on the spot where I would write my note. So again, because we've said happier than happy, hello, and congratulations, it really could be a welcome for a new baby or whatever you want it to be. Okay, and again, keep in mind our stamp set does have the welcome, hello baby, welcome, and thanks. So you could customize it that way. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. I'll pop us back so I can say a proper goodbye here. And whoops, yeah, thanks again for joining. I hope that wasn't too scary for you. I'd love to see your cards, and I hope if you would like to join me tomorrow night for my free Zoom mystery stamping. It'll be a lot of fun, so just message me on the bottom or text me or email me, however you usually communicate with me, and I'll send you that link. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week for card number 4 in this series. Bye for now.